The COVID-19 pandemic is arguably the most defining moment of this decade, perhaps even of this century. The advent of a highly contagious airborne virus required us to isolate ourselves and minimize physical contact. Malaysia has been under fluctuating states of lockdown, including the current Movement Control Order 3.0. Since May of this year, schools shut down once more, and both teachers and students alike quickly grew accustomed to having classes online from the comfort of their own homes. However, in this rapidly changing learning environment, whereas certain individuals were able to keep up with the paradigm shift, a particular subset of students were neglected, disabled students. Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to everyone present. My name is Ameera Rostam and I am accompanied by
Elea Maisarah, Hafizuddin,
Siti Azmina, Hisham,
and me, Hasya Maryam binti Kamal, Bahrain.
Under the supervision of Ms. Azmina, we, Team Sekolah Seri Puteri, are here to unveil our presentation entitled Online Learning, Another Hurdle for Disabled Students. In line with our subtheme, COVID-19, Paradigm Shift in Teaching and Learning on the fourth Sustainable Development Goal, Education. Before we continue with our presentation, what exactly is a paradigm shift? The term paradigm shift was first coined by Thomas Kuhn in 1962 in the context of scientific revolutions. This phrase has now evolved to mean an important change that happens when the usual way of thinking about or doing something is replaced by a new and different way. The very paradigm shift we wish to talk about is social distancing measures in schools, desks in classrooms spaced meters apart, and when daily cases hit record high figures, the total closure of schools nationwide. Here you go, Hasya.
Thanks a lot, Safea. So, what is the context of this study? According to the Ministry of Education, there were 2,458 different able students attending special education schools in Malaysia, with over 61,418 students with special education needs enrolled in the Special Education Integration Program in 2018. In the context of online learning, students with special needs in Malaysia are generally divided into three categories, as cited from the official government website. Firstly, visually impaired students who have low vision or are blind in one or both eyes. Second is hearing impaired students who are unable to hear clearly in both ears or are unable to hear at all. And lastly are students with learning disabilities who have intellectual capabilities that do not conform with biological age. This includes conditions like Down syndrome, autism spectrum disorder, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, to name a few. Additionally, students with multiple disabilities cannot be limited to a single category are also included in this discussion. The problem that we have identified is that due to the isolated nature of online learning, disabled students face many difficulties ranging from lack of supervision to the absence of suitable learning materials that will allow them to understand what is being taught. Our research objectives today are simple. Number 1 is to find out difficulties faced by disabled students during online learning, and secondly is to find solutions on how to help disabled students overcome said difficulties. The methodology used is a mixed methods approach that is both quantitative and qualitative in nature. We conducted interviews with one parent and 3 teachers of disabled students, as well as survey questionnaires involving 14 teachers. Here you go, Mina.
Whoa! Thanks, Hasya. So, what exactly did we find in our research? Well, let's take a look. When asked to rate the understanding of their students on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being fairly poor and 5 being fairly good, teachers generally ranked in-person learning as more effective than online learning. Out of the teachers surveyed, the majority agreed that students have difficulty paying attention in class, cannot understand what is being taught, or even do not attend class at all. All of these can be attributed to the lack of supervision at home, as opposed to a school environment, where a teacher can watch over them personally. For students with conditions like ADHD, for example, online learning has proved to be difficult because of their constitution, which causes them to have trouble sitting still for extended periods of time. This is even more apparent in a situation where they must sit and face their computer screens for hours on end. Alternatively, another contributing factor to low attendance rates is the lack of gadgets such as laptops and tablets, and/or stable internet connection to join class, as many of these disabled students are found to be from relatively low-income households. Additionally, many teachers cited the lack of hands-on practical experiences that are indispensable to students with special education needs as a reason why online learning was found to be less effective in comparison to in-person learning. For example, a teacher of hearing-impaired students remarked that synchronous online classes were ineffective for her pupils as they had to divert their attention between her signing and the images being displayed. In light of this, she switched to a less conventional way of teaching. Pre-recorded videos of specific topics that students could constantly replay instead of scrambling to keep up. Here you go, Elea.
Ouch! Thanks, Mina. So the problems that Mina identified sound very severe. Are there any recommendations on ways to help?
Disabled students may require assistance from their parents, even in seemingly trivial tasks. For example, a student with Down syndrome may feel unmotivated to wake up for class on time. A student with hearing impairment may face difficulties in completing their homework. And a student who is partially blind may feel challenged to access online learning platforms. It is up to parents to aid their children in their education, as they are the ones who know them the best, and they are the ones who are most capable of helping them. Students all across Malaysia are affected by poor internet connection that is disruptive to learning and has even forced students to climb up trees in order to sit for their examinations. This impacts disabled students even more severely, as they are found to be from rural areas with weak internet connectivity. Fortunately, the government is working to improve internet accessibility under the Jendela Plan, which is aimed towards connecting the entire nation virtually. The creation of KPM e-textbook reader, an application with digital textbooks for both teachers and students, is appreciated. However, upon further investigation, it is found that the only way to access the special education versions of textbooks is through convoluted websites. Thus, we suggest that the Ministry of Education compile a more comprehensive collection of digital textbooks, including the versions for students with learning disabilities, as well as ensure that these textbooks are screen reader friendly.
To end, we would like to stress the importance of providing education that is not only high quality but accessible to every student. Education is a universal basic right that can increase the quality of life of individuals and, as an effect, their happiness too.
It is only fair that everyone, no matter their ability, be able to partake in it. In the words of former Minister of Education Dr. Mazli bin Malik, education is not an end itself. It is the way forward in facilitating learning and attainment of values, knowledge, skills, beliefs, and habits. Thank you, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.